How's it going? Hope you're doing well. Today we're looking at the singles from Paradox Rift. We'll also be looking at sealed product, but we're going to focus today on the PSA 10s because the PSA 10s in this set are absolutely taking off. They're literally seeing hundreds of dollars of gains for a lot of these cards, from secret illustration rares to even the illustration rares making big jumps, not only the raw cards, but like I said, the PSA 10. Like you have this Swablu going from $50, $60 in a PSA 10 now to $141. You know, it's pairing well with that Altaria in the set. So yeah, we're going to look at PSA 10s for this set, and then we're also going to be looking at a couple plays you can make still for Paradox Rift if you already have a ton of booster boxes, or if you're in that camp that feels like Paradox Rift isn't maybe a set that you want to heavily invest in. There's still a couple little bit of small investments like this $48 Build and Battle box, and even the Build and Battle Stadium getting a case for $15 each. So yeah, we're going to be looking at a couple plays, the ETBs and the 3-pack blisters today. And yeah, so let's go ahead and dive into this, you guys. Paradox Rift is actually one of my favorite sets of the era. It's going to be Paradox Rift, and then after that, Twilight Masquerade. Those are, for the most part, my favorite sets. Surging Sparks, I think, is a decent... Obviously, it's an incredible set. But to me, it's maybe not my favorite set. Paradox Rift and Twilight Masquerade are my favorite. But let's look at the booster boxes right here. Booster boxes in January were $142. And they have since kind of a little volatile right here. It had a price correction at the end of January from 152 down to 148. So not too much of a drop. And now it's continuing forward, going up, and it's hitting $159 with, look at this volume, you guys. We are seeing 5 to 20 booster boxes being sold every few days since the new year began. And man, this set, 6 months ago was $100. I was able to get a ton of Paradox Rift just because I really liked the set, honestly. And it was also the first set that I got my first booster box case for about $600. So that was really nice. And I'm really glad that, not that cards are getting super expensive in this bull market, but the fact that this Groudon is getting the love it deserves, and even that Roaring Moon. And so let's look at this Groudon right here, and then we'll look at the PSA 10. So the Groudon in January was selling for $76. You can see the volume is about 2 to 10 cards being sold every few days. And look at how this price jump happened pretty fast, from $75 to $83, and you can see the volume right here. 13 copies were sold in a day for this card. Yeah, people have been buying this card for several months. Anyways, it's gone up all the way up to $100, broke $109, and it went through a little bit of price correction recently and is dropping down to about $105. So all-time high for the card is $109. And it's now had a price correction down to $105. So we'll see if the Groudon calms down in the next 3 months, and hopefully it sees a good healthy support line. Hopefully it doesn't go to $150 and then drop to $120, because people will lose some gains on that. Well, we'll have to see. Right now it's $105, and honestly, I think it should be a $105 card. Pull rates for this set were more difficult than Obsidian Flames and Scarlet and Violet Base, and even Paldea Evolved. But there's so many cards in this set, and the print quality is not too good. I opened 3 booster boxes, I believe. I pulled all gold cards. It kind of sucked, but I did get an Altaria and a booster bundle, and I ended up trading that. It had a small nick or dink in the corner, and I traded that at a trade show for like $45 card value, maybe 40, and now it's like a 60 plus card. So let's look at this PSA 10 right here. We could see in January this PSA 10 was about $280. It has since passed $380, and it is now passed in February $400, and it's now a $424 PSA 10. You can see right here eBay sales 430, 450, 400. So the price is fluctuating around $400 to $430, and that's a big jump from January, you know, being a $280 card now to a $430 card. And I also went to eBay, you know, just to confirm those sales from pokedata.io. We could see February 13th, that's today, $449, buy it now, $430 in a auction right here, plus shipping, and $425. So it's about a $450 to $430 card right now. Obviously, PSA 10s, people are, you know, probably recognizing that some of these sets have difficult, not only pull rates, but the print quality isn't really the best on a lot of these sets, especially Obsidian Flames and Paradox Rift, as we're talking about now. So let's check out this Altaria that I traded. I think it was like 6 months ago, you guys. At least I did get, you know, an Iron Crown out of it because I traded this card along with a few other cards. So in January, this card, or actually let's go to January, because we want to see how recent this boom has started, you know. Cards have gradually been making, you know, some gains these past few months. Like since November, December, we started to see a trend that, okay, overall, a lot of cards are going up, right? But now we're seeing this quick skyrocket boom in a lot of these cards. And mainly it's because we got new collectors. I sold a booster box today for $150 to someone on Facebook, really great guy. And he's just a new collector that got into Pokemon because of TCG Pocket, of Pokemon Pocket or whatever it's called. And it just reminded him of the cards and everything. And he has cards from way back in the day. And so he said Paradox Rift was his favorite set, and I agree that it's one of my favorite sets and one of the coolest sets of the era. A lot of people like Paldea Evolved. Personally, I think it's a cool set, but I like Paradox Rift a lot more. And so yeah, there's new collectors every day, you guys, and you know they want to enjoy the hobby too. And if they're seeing booster boxes rise, and they can afford the booster boxes, they're gonna collect a few of them, right? They might not all be investors. My channel is an investor channel, but at the same time, you know, we collect things too. You know, we love this hobby. We love Pokemon, and it's fun to be on the investing side for sure and see everything go up. And that's when it's time to sell too, to make your gains. Anyways, this card has gone up from $37 in January up to $68. And look at the volume. You have 10 copies of this card being sold every few days. And look right here, we have 49 copies of this card being sold for $56, and it continues to go up. There's still a lot of demand for this card, and now it's $68. So from $38 in January to $68, that is pretty awesome to see. And so let's look at that PSA 10, because the PSA 10 for this card is absolutely nuts. In January, this card was selling for about $140 in a PSA 10, and you could see how it was subtly going up, and now it quickly shot up to about $240 in a PSA 10. And you guys, there's lots of sales for this card in a PSA 10. 250, 269, 279, 299, 245. People are really looking to collect these cards, whether they're flipping these cards, whether they want to collect these cards or hold on to them. A lot of people are interested in Paradox Rift, and you could see it by the sales. Right here we have $269 on eBay, $250 on eBay. And honestly, it is a beautiful card, I will admit. Having this card in my hand, I was like, man, the Aerodactyl is really cool. I really like it, but this one has a lot of blue in it. And I don't know, in the green, it just really stands out, guys. It looks pretty nice. Next, one of my favorite cards in this set, if not my favorite, behind the Groudon for me, is the Roaring Moon EX. Probably one of the coolest artworks I feel like we got in this generation of Pokemon, especially because it was the 4th set out of the entire era at the time. And the newest set, I was like, dude, this card is crazy. I FOMO'd, I bought some copies for $80. And since then, you know, you wanna if you're looking to invest in certain cards and you believe in the cards, you want to get multiple copies, right? And why not get more copies when the cards get cheaper? And people call it dollar cost averaging down, right? You get more cards. If you got cards that were, maybe $80 like I did, and then you buy 3 more copies for $45, you bring your overall average down, right? And so let's look at this card right here. You can see in January, it actually managed to hit $62, dropped to, that's a weird sale right there. Some of these numbers are a little weird, you guys, but yeah, it's been a $56 card since January, and it's still about a $60 card. But I will say, let's see overall. Yeah, this card has been so volatile, you guys. It doesn't even show you like the post-release. We'll look at the PSA 10 too, because the PSA 10 is crazy. Yeah, it's been pretty volatile, but look at the volume, you guys. People know this card is a popular card. 20 to 80 copies of this card have been sold every few days. So it's a really popular card, you guys. And like I said, the print quality is not good on this set. I've been on eBay looking for good copies to grade, and they are hard to come by. Honestly, 2 out of 6 I'm grading. The other ones I might grade just to get that PSA 9. PSA 9s are going for $73. The raw card is going for $60, so I might as well grade them for $18, bulk grading price. And if you want to grade cards, let me know. Hit me up in the comments and I can help you grade your cards, $30 each. But let's look at this PSA 10, you guys. In January, $191. Jumped up to $200 at the end of January, and now is making its way to $300. It's topping out right now at $273 for the Roaring Moon EX in a PSA 10. Started out at $185 in January, now $273. So nearly $100 gain in just like 30 days. So that's pretty nuts, you guys, because if you're looking to buy these cards or invest in these cards, and maybe you already had a PSA 10, it's really nice to see these cards go up because, eBay fees are only 13.25%. So if you have your seller or your buyer pay the shipping and then you pay the eBay fee 13%, you're making 80% gains if you bought this card in January. That's awesome. You're making $80 on a card that you bought, that you believed in, and that you ended up on the other side with some profit. So really great to see. Also, we have the PSA 10 population report and PSA 9. So 2,290 PSA 10s versus 2,336 PSA 9. So that's about 50-50, you guys, about a 50% gem rate. If we look at the Altaria, 1,058, 1,104. Again, 50% gem rate, so it's not good. It's not that good. It's not that easy to grade these cards. Let's just say 2,172 PSA 10s versus 2,093 PSA 9s. So again, less than or a little bit over 50%. So these cards, I'm telling you guys, they're hard to grade. They're not easy, especially when you're sourcing like I have been. They're hard to find. Here's a card, you guys, I wish I would have sourced sooner. I was really thinking about it, but at the same time, as an investor, you're looking at booster boxes, you're looking at singles. Booster boxes are safer. Cards are more volatile in this hobby, in collecting, in investing. The prices change quickly. However, you can make more gains off of these Pokemon cards versus the Pokemon booster boxes, because booster boxes take more time, right, to see your gains and investment potential, and cards are a little more risky, that's for sure. Now let's go ahead and look at this card, the Garchomp, and the PSA 10 is shooting up too, you guys. January, this card was $24, and it has quickly shot up, bang, to $51, you guys. $25 card to a $50 card, that's 100% gains. It's gone up in the 6 months 186%. In the last month, it's gone up 97.5%. Basically 100% gain. $25, you paid $25, and then literally 30 days later, it's a $50 card. And this is being caused by, the demand in the hobby and demand for these cards and demand and people looking for any plays to make. especially people who are looking to flip and make some money in this market, investors or flippers. They're looking for really cool cards at a good price, and or even paying the higher market price, because this bull market will most likely continue until we see a price correction overall in the hobby or a downturn in the market. It's going to be obvious. Prices are going to drop. People will call it a crash, but we haven't seen that yet, you guys. And so we might as well play into this market for the time being. But this is being caused by the volume. You could see 10 to 30 of these cards have been sold on a few days, like right here, 31 cards. On average, we see about 5 to 20 copies being sold every few days, and that's just this past month. So incredible for the Garchomp EX. It's really great to see. This card, people were, I don't know, some people were like, it's not that cool of a card. And I'm like, are you kidding me? It's a Garchomp card, and it's a decent artwork. I don't know what people, I mean, opinions, matter, but especially when they're different than yours. But I don't know, guys. This card has been cool for a really long time. $115 in January for the PSA 10 Garchomp EX, and now it's gone up to $185. And this has been a steady rise, you guys. Steady rise, $121 to $185. Look at the PSA 10 versus the PSA 9. That's about less than 50%, maybe 49%. And so look at these sales, $235, $233. So the Garchomp is selling in that PSA 10 and more expensive than what it shows right here. This is catching up with the data. So actually we have some sales on eBay, $235, $233, $210. So it has officially broken the $200 price point. That is pretty good. Pretty cool to see. And man, I wish I would have got some Garchomps, man. I could have got 10 of them for $190 and graded all of them. Oh well, you guys, you can't make all the plays, but the plays you do make, you got to make them count. Next, we have this Iron Valiant EX card right here. I'm getting excited now. We got a lot of good news in this hobby, a lot of good gains. Let's see. In January, about $29 card, and man, I was seeing PSA 10s for this card at $100 just a few months ago at trade shows. Let's find out how much it is now. $29 as a raw card. It's gone up to $34. So there's still potential for this card, you guys. I think it's a good enough artwork. I think it's a decent Pokemon. It's not Gardevoir or Gallade, but honestly, I think it's better than Gallade. Mega Gallade is OP. Mega Gallade would destroy Iron Valiant any day. In terms of looks, and it would probably, it's got a cape. You're not going to beat a guy with the cape. Anyways, yeah, the volume's pretty good. 10 to 50 copies being sold every few days. That's pretty nuts, you guys. So that's what's causing this card to go up, but it's still only a $34 card. It's under $40. The Blood Moon Ursaluna is more expensive than this card at $39. Check out my video if you haven't seen it on the channel. Now let's look at the PSA 10, because the PSA 10, like I said, it was $100 not too long ago. In January, it was $131, and now it's only $142, guys. You can get a PSA 10 instead of getting a raw card, and just pay $100. You don't have to worry about grading. It gets shipped to you. That's it. And yeah, so you can go for the raw card at around $32. Or go for the PSA 10 at around $142. Let's check the sales though. 169, 134, 160. Man, I'm sorry guys. Looks like it's already past $160, $150. But don't fret, you guys. Keep looking on eBay. There's been a ton of these cards in a PSA 10. Let's look at the pop report. About 1,200 versus 1,100, so a little bit higher than 50%, barely. But like I said, I've been trying to source those cards. I've got a couple Iron Valiants, not too many. But it was hard to want to get more because, like I said, the print quality is not good. All right, next we have the Steelix card, illustration rare. A lot of people really like this card. Look at the volume, first off. 5 to 15 copies being sold every few days. That's good to see. It's really nice to see a lot of volume for cards because it just shows that it's a popular Pokemon and that it's going to be liquid in the future, or at least for the time being. Yeah, in January, this card was $25, now selling for $33. So that's about a 29% jump, $25 to $33. Really cool card. Let's look at the PSA 10, $104 in January, $171, you guys. And look at the sales, 185, 190. The Steelix is cool. I'm glad we got a decent artwork for the Steelix, and it really does stand out. I haven't seen the card in person, but this is a good artwork. Now, if we got a Steelix EX, that would be sick. Could you imagine? All right, next we have this Yveltal card. One of the lesser known legendary cards, but honestly one of the coolest artworks that I've seen. There's quite a few Yveltal cards that you could still get, but let's talk about this one in the meantime. It's gone up, let's see, in the last month, 37% from $15 to $22. So I think there's some room for this card. Honestly, it's a really epic artwork. It would be really nice to have in the collection. I should have gotten a few copies by now. But again, you know, market sentiment can influence you. So if you think there's a cool card, just go ahead and get it, you guys. Go ahead and get it. You can see for the longest time, this card was at one point a $6 card, became a $16 card, went through a price correction to $11, and now it's a $22 card. So it's really cool to see when these cards, you know, price correct and then they recover and then they get more popular. And as you can see, we're seeing 20 to 80 to almost 100 copies of this card being sold. And that's mainly because the card was so cheap and it's actually a really cool artwork. To me, it's better than the Plusle and Minon, even though Plusle and Minon was like really iconic to see two Pokemon be like a duality. We're going to look at those cards soon. The PSA 10 on this one is flying, you guys. $100 in January, now $159. Some sales at $150, $160. So you have two options, you guys, as investors. You can either buy the card in a PSA 10 already guaranteed, or you can look to get some $20 cards of Yveltal and try to grade them yourself for about $18 to $25, depending if you have a PSA membership and if you're grading in bulk. Next, we have this Minon card. We're just gonna look at Pokedata.io for these cards. $81 in January, $147 right now. We have some sales at $100, and it's quickly going up, guys, from $100 like 2 weeks ago, and now $148, $149. There's the Minon, only 191 in existence right now, you guys, to 152. So that's about a little more than 50%. Next, we have this Goldango card in a PSA 10, $93, and it's stayed pretty consistent, you know, you guys, for the longest time. This card has not shot up. It is definitely a new Pokemon. It's a cool looking Pokemon. It's a very close-up view. But yeah, look at this price, very flat, $20, $15. So it's gone up from $15 a few months ago now to $23. So not too many gains for the Goldango. I have this card in Japanese. It's pretty cool. But I guess it's just not as well known, you know. Sorry, guys. It's not as well known. And yeah, you know, there's just so much cooler Pokemon, I feel. Look at this Plusle, not as expensive as the Minon for some reason. It's a $60 PSA 10 with sales at $55 and $71. So look at the population report, though. I think this card eventually will go up a little more just because I don't think people just want to collect one of them. I'm thinking you want to have both of them in your PSA 10 collection. That's just me. 169 versus 176, so a little bit under 50% gem rate. Here's the Swablu we talked about in the beginning of the video. It was a $60 PSA 10. Now it's $141. Look at the gem rate, almost exactly 50%. 153 in a PSA 10, and there's only 150 in a PSA 9. $87 right here. We have a sale for $199. That's kind of crazy. 129, 160. Yeah, these prices are going up really fast for this card in a matter of like the past 3 weeks. Here's a Tapu Koko EX. Really cool artwork. It is now a it's a $92 PSA 10. In January, it was $69. I want to get to the products. You know, some of these cards, they're cool. And they're maybe a little bit expensive, even though like they're not the most well-known Pokemon. $94 in a PSA 10. This card is honestly sick. I've seen these copies at shows, and I'm like, man, do I want that card? And I'm like, nah, I'd rather put that money towards Roaring Moon or something like that, or Raging Bolt, or a Walking Weight card. So something that's a little more liquid and more iconic. Parasol Lady, it's gone up from $76 to $95. That's cool to see. A few sales at $100. Not too bad for the Parasol Lady. Now, here are those plays. This is Hills Wholesale Gaming. Highly recommend. You just pay shipping, and you can buy a pretty decent quantity of anything you're looking for. So giving away some plays, you guys. Looking out for you guys and myself. You know, if there's plays I'm doing for myself, why not share them with you guys? Now, for me, I have a ton of Paradox Rift, but this is a play that I'm open to because the Build and Battle Stadium, $48 on this site, Hills Wholesale Gaming. And on TCG Player, it does say the market price is $46. However, recent sales show that it's $51. There's some sales for $51, $53, $53, pretty much in the 50s, you guys. I feel like it's going to continue to go up. There's not too many on the open market, as you can see. Most of them are in the 60s or 70s plus shipping. And so I think that's a good play. You know, people are selling them already for $50 on TCG Player. I would say wait a few months. We're probably not going to get any more Paradox Rift. It's highly unlikely we're going to get any new restocks or reprints. We might get some restocks from distributors or something, but reprints, doesn't look like we're getting those, you guys. So if you wait and you buy some of these for $48, let's say you buy 10, $480. And then let's say eventually the price point does get to like $60, $70. You can make about $20 to $30 per every Build and Battle Stadium. So that's pretty good. You know, if you got 10, you're making $30 a box on each. That's $300 in profit, you guys. So there's still plays to be made out there. You know, I know Surging Sparks is expensive. Twilight Masquerade is almost at $200. Sword and Shield, you can maybe make some plays on some sets there. But Paradox Rift, you guys, with that Groudon's so legendary, literally, that I think it's going to continue to moon. And I think the Roaring Moon, another pun not intended, will continue to go up. And Altaria doesn't look like it's slowing down either. Next, we have this Build and Battle. This is the Build and Battle box case. So these come with 4 packs and a deck and a promo with a stamp that has Paradox Rift. But let's say you get 10 of these. Let's say you get a case of these. There's 10 boxes. So you're getting 40 packs for $149, right? So that's about a booster box. A booster box is about $159. So a little bit more than a booster box, but they're smaller, and your entry point is so cheap. You're buying them for $15 each. And dude, you guys, even in a year, I'm sure you could sell these for $30 each. But if you look right here, they're selling on TCG Player. You're getting 5 to 40 boxes being sold at $16 when you can make a play right here for $15. Personally, I think you want to wait a little bit. You could see that the only ones available on the open market right now on TCG Player are all $20 plus. So you guys, same thing. You get a case for $150 and you sell each box for $20 each. You paid $15, so you're making $5 on each of those boxes. If you sell all 10 boxes, you guys, what is that? $50? Not too bad. You got to get those margins wherever you can. All right, next we're going to talk about the Pokemon Center ETBs right here. The Roaring Moon is $94. The volume is looking really good, you guys. People are trying to get these boxes before they hit $150 or $120. The Roaring Moon is honestly the coolest one. I used to have it up there. It's up 45% in the last 3 months. In the last month, it's up 12%. So it's very liquid. That's good. All this volume right here is good to see. The only ones left on the market are $100 plus, $110, $120, $130, even $150, you guys. So Market price, maybe check on eBay. The prices could be cheaper on eBay. And there's even the other Pokemon Center one, the Iron Valiant. Not as cool. $84. It looks like it's just as liquid. There's a few boxes being sold every few days. Market price $84 versus the market price on the Roaring Moon was what, $90 to $100. And you can see there's still some available on the market at $85, $92, $81, and here's one for $100. But most of them are in the 90s. So 90s and 80s, you guys, you can still pull the trigger on this one and have it in your collection. The 3-pack blisters, you guys, it is sold out on that site that I sold you, Hills Wholesale Gaming. You could have got them for, I think it was like $15 for them, but TCG Player actually has some available on the market. Oh god, there's not that many, you guys. What? People are crazy. They're selling them for $39 each. I mean $39 for the set of 2, so $15 each. Man, you guys, people already picked up on this play. I got to it too late. Man, these were like $15, $13, and now they're sold out on the Pokemon Center. So my bad, you guys. I thought there was still some in stock. Here's that booster bundle, Paradox Rift. It is now $34 for the booster bundle. That's really great to see. 3 months ago, it was around $24. You can see the volume's pretty good. About 5 of these boxes being sold every few days. At some point, maybe people will stop buying them, but you can see the volume is not too bad. Every few days, you're having like 5 being sold. On the market left, only $48. So honestly, you guys, the right here, the Build and Battle Stadium is probably the best way to go. You know, people put a premium on the booster bundles, and it makes sense. They're easy to store. They're normally cheap for a while at $25, but now Stellar Crown $32, Surging Sparks $43 for a booster bundle. You might as well make that play. Booster bundles are cool and everything, but people are forgetting about those Build and Battle Stadiums. So there you have it, everyone. I'll see you all next time. Peace.